too early, but that's okay. My gym workout was phenomenal. Before I went home, I decided to stop over at my mother's house. I haven't seen my mother in 2 months. I know she's going to be very surprised to see me. I can't wait. What the? I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The first thing I noticed was this person's skin. What is going on? Uncomplicated, untreated skin? Who is this guy? I had to take a step back, but then I realized it was my brother. But look at his skin. Have you guys ever seen anything like that? I had to take a closer look and figure out what was going on. Best believe I crept up on him. Peep this. I'm still looking at his skin, trying to figure out how did we get here. I could do nothing but shake my head. He could definitely use my help. I had to get to the bottom of this. He definitely needed some game about his skin. I'm just staring at it, like looking at it. Come on, bro. I knew what to do. I had to reach in my bag and get that Tej Hanley. Uncomplicated skincare for men. Bro, this is why I'm excited to have Tej Hanley as a sponsor of today's video. They have helped me start and maintain my skincare routine by making the entire process uncomplicated. Honestly, it's the best skincare system for guys like you and me. I recommend you start with their level 1 system, which comes with all the basics. A daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and the grime on your skin, a 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells, an AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. My brother was so excited. My favorite part about Tej Hanley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really make the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin easy. Shout out to Tej Hanley. And because Tej Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers a great deal. Just click the first link in the description, and not only will you get Tej Hanley for the best possible price, but they'll also give you a free gift with your first box. Click that link and get started today for just $30. Feel the Tej. Let the Tej force be with you. That's right, family. Feel the Tej. It's go time. It's go time. What's going on, family? Welcome to King Talk. Let me go ahead and introduce the crew. We got Sweeney, Humble Dad, Pink, Sir Hale, Black Spider Guy, Luis, Chris, Sean, and me, myself. I'm Lapeef JR. Welcome to King Talk with the Lapeef Network. What's going on, family? What's going on? How y'all doing?
Hey, what's
doing
good,
all right.
JR? Going well, man.
What's going on, fellas?
Oh, well, here, man. Can't complain. You got feeling for me.
What's happening? What's happening, fellas?
What's up, everybody?
Another day in paradise. It's Tuesday, right? It's King Talk. I want to shout out to the sponsor before we get this show started. Tej Hanley Uncomplicated Skincare for Men. 30% off along with a free gift. The link is in the description. If you guys haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We got Green Gang in the building. Let me see who we got in the chat. We got Joe Lee, Jordan Landry, Dale Matthew. If you want to become part of Green Gang, that link is pinned to the top of the chat. Salute to all the new members that have became members just us recently. I did start a show. I'm doing a recap show just for members only on Fridays. Thursday should be something special. We got a few people popping in, so it should be a little bit of spicy entertainment, a little bit of value as well. Possible solutions. I know everybody's always looking for solutions, so we might actually get some solutions this Thursday. To be determined, though. We'll see how that goes. What else we got? I'm also doing whiskey vibes. Some members only too. That's going to be on the weekends. Probably a couple times a month. It's going to get better, man. We had an awesome show. A lot of people asked a lot of different questions to me directly. So that's something that you don't typically get. You won't find me out here on these YouTube streets. So If you want to catch me, that's probably the best way to catch me is if you are a member. So go ahead and catch the replay on that. Hink did pop up on there as well. Jordan Landry. Shout out to everybody. I think Dale Matthew might have popped up too. Or Mr. Renegade, that's what it was. So salute to you guys. Come ready to vibe out with whiskey, man. TX is my favorite whiskey. I will be visiting them tomorrow, so we'll see how that go. But shout out to TX Whiskey. With that being said, let's go ahead and get the show started. Gentlemen, ready? Spider-Man, you ready? Spider Guy, I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. Hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead and get this show started. Our first topic that I want to discuss tonight is Derrick Jackson's estranged wife says she knew several other women's bodies better than her own following his infidelities. Derrick Jackson is a YouTuber. He's made a name for himself in a lot of ways. So many people have different perspectives about him. I don't know the guy, so I'm not trying to judge nobody, but he has been in the media. And, he had that whole scandal, whatever was going on with that. And so his wife spoke out. I'm assuming over the weekend, we'll probably just seeing a clip, but she spoke out. I'm going to play a clip of what she had to say. Some of the guys on the panel have seen it. Others have not. So I want to open up discussion for the men. I want to get you guys' perspectives. We often hear what ladies have to say, so I'm just curious what the men think about it. And let's go ahead and play this clip and dive into it. What do you?
I became a shell of myself. I didn't know who I was. I actually have a couple posts on my page where I have a post that says, I knew her body better than I knew my own.
Stop. Let that sit there. You said you knew another woman's body better than you knew your own.
Yes, several women. I knew several other women's bodies better than I knew my own. And I spent a lot of time, like I went in such a deep hole where I was like studying these women. I would go to their profiles and I would study their pages and like what they wear. I knew when they had met up. So I watched their videos of them having sex. So I would try to imitate that and recreate that in our relationships so that he could choose me and want me. And that is a low point to be. And I'm tearing up a little bit because I hate that I even got to a point where that was a thing, but that it was just that. And so I knew several other women's bodies better than I knew my own. I completely lost myself. I became a shell of myself. I tried to imitate their hair, their actions, even sexual things that I had seen him doing with them. I tried to recreate that in our life when we were engaged, and none of it amounted to anything.
All right, that's the clip, fellas. Let's go ahead and talk about it. I want to get you guys' immediate reactions. What are your thoughts about what was said? What came to mind? Just want to pick you guys' brains for a little bit. Spider, you seem like you getting up senses. So let me go ahead and start with you.
This is just funny to me because I've been making videos about Derrick Jax for the past 4 years. And, the guy consistently made videos about how a man should be, how a man is supposed to act, how a man should work with his wife when he's having issues, what have you. And here we have, his estranged wife just showcasing the buffoonery that is Derrick Jax in just full display. And I just find it to be so hilarious because he's one of the people out there that's consistently pushing a message that's just not 100%. You can tell it's a lie, and it's just wonderful to hear it out there for everybody to listen to.
Okay. All right. So that was about Derrick Jackson, but I want to pick your brain about what she actually said. Let me get some insight about that.
Oh, about what she said specifically.
Yeah.
I find it unfortunate that, she was put into a predicament where she was the other woman. And, she played the game of maybe I can be good enough if I try to be. You know, it's sad. A lot of girls will do that. You know, the fame, the money, what have you. They'll try their best to try and do a fixer-rooney on a guy that definitely doesn't deserve it. And, you know, end up in the situation that she's in. I tell girls all the time, you know, if a guy doesn't give you attention, maybe you should focus it somewhere else. But again, you know, unfortunately, a lot of girls will try to fix a guy or try to change a guy or be what that guy wants, but they're just not that. It's unfortunate. It's sad to see.
Okay. Sean Antonio, what are your thoughts about it?
Man, I can't lie, man. I empathize with her, man. Just you could hear you could just hear the defeat in her voice. You could hear it almost sounds like she blames herself. You just hearing everything, to hear a woman say that she knew other women's bodies better than she knew her own. To hear her say she had to watch this man have sex, and then in her mind convince herself that she's inadequate and that she has to emulate what she saw in that. And just being real as a person who's always been a terrible boyfriend, you know, not the best husband in the world, it really makes you think about some of the things that you've done. Because when you're in that mindset, it doesn't matter who the woman is or how great of a woman she is. When you own that, you just own that. And you don't think about the carnage that you're leaving behind. You don't think about the scars. You don't think about any of the damage until you really step back and you realize the effect you had on a person that you say you love, a person that you would probably lay your life down for. You would treat them that badly. So I empathize with her. I really do. And I feel bad for people like myself and other people who put people through stuff like that.
I appreciate that. Brother Hank, what are your thoughts about it? Derek Jackson, a strange wife.
Yeah, I mean, I echo what Sean just shared. I mean, and think about it, she doesn't look like a bad looking woman. She seems like a nice looking woman, but man, to me, I don't know if she can ever have a good wholesome relationship with another man again. Just to listen to her conversation, man, because of how bad he really hurt that woman. He hurt her bad, and you could just hear it in the voice. How she described it, and where she has no confidence in herself at all, to the point where she was like Sean said, she was watching videos of him being intimate with the other women and trying to emulate the actions and the activities and their styles of dress and clothing and all of that. Man, that's crazy. So, man, I don't know. You feel real bad for her, but in essence, I'm surprised she didn't leave sooner. You know, I'm surprised she stuck around as long as she did. Now, I don't know what type of, you know, how bad he really had her brainwashed, because that's what it seemed like. He really had her brainwashed to stay around that long as she did and put up with what she did. I wouldn't fault if she left. I wouldn't at all. So that man, you know, like I said, she sounded real bad. Yeah, I don't see her having without some serious therapy, I don't see her getting into a serious relationship at all. Not with any type man. No.
Okay. Chris, let me get your thoughts about it, sir.
When I saw this clip, I thought about being a wife with the wrong man. She followed the wrong guy. That's why she was with those women the same way he was. So I think a lot of the times women will subconsciously, when you follow a man, you got to think about where he's going and what he's following, because that's where you're going to end up too. So I think she just got caught up, fell in love with the wrong guy, looked up. She's like, what am I doing here? I'm studying these women and competing with these women. And you lose yourself. I think that's the crime that was done here. You lost yourself, and he failed her to a degree. As a husband, you're supposed to introduce your wife to more of herself, not make her lose herself completely. So I think this is just, if we're talking about the intent here, as a wife, you make vows to follow your man, right? To stick with your man through thick and thin. I think a lot of the times we have to, as husbands too, and wives, and more importantly, before you make those vows to your man, ask yourself, where is that man headed? So I think this is just a prime example of a lack of preparation as far as getting into bed with the wrong person.
Hey, Jay, I can add another thing to that if you don't mind. I think the way she sounds and the way she seems like she's moved, if he had a conversation, she probably would have been open to an open relationship. She sounded like she probably would have been open to that. Just how much she loved and cherished and seemed like she respected that man. I don't know if that conversation ever came up, but she seemed like she would be open to that. So,
Okay, go ahead, sir. Here.
Well, first of all, I'm going to take this a little bit different. I see insecurity with her. So as she was speaking, I heard somebody who's insecure who saw someone else who she thought was better than her for that stage in her life. And that was abused, because I think that a lot of women, regardless of how we see them, I think most women carry some level of insecurity with them, and they mask it up and they dress it up. But I think most women, even the best looking women that we think have unlimited options, have an insecurity. And the right man, and when I say right, I mean the man that can provoke that, can draw that out of her. And I think Derek Jackson was that guy that she looked at, that she felt like not only did she have to compete for, but she had to become something different to be accepted by him. So I think that shows her insecurity, but it also shows an opportunity for men to strengthen their woman. So if women typically have an insecurity, then it is a man's job to help build her up in those areas so that she's confident. That's the first thing. The second part is her response shows the depth of a woman that really is invested in you. Like, a lot of men don't understand this. When you get a woman on your team and she is really into you, an older woman told me this years ago. She said, when you got a woman who really loves you, right or wrong, there's almost no limit to where she'll go to make you happy, right? Even if she knows it's questionable, eventually, like if you guys have ever seen a woman who stuck with a guy who he sold drugs and she carried packages for him, right? Like the length, there are some women who've actually carried things within their actual canals, right? Because they wanted to help so when you get a woman on your team to love you, there is no limit to where she'll go to prove that love to you. And it is up to men, first of all, to not put your woman in a compromising position, and to understand that her level of loyalty is not to be exploited, it's to be appreciated. And when she gives you that, you should aim to honor her and not use that against her, such as what Derek Jackson did. Anytime you have a woman who has to look at other women to find a way to connect with you, you've damaged and broke her in the area that other people couldn't have done. And this is where you hear women who become hateful, who become bitter and say, you know what, I'm done with men, or I'm done with black men. And then it makes it difficult for gentlemen who want to have conversations about why women should stick with black men. Well, it's guys like this who do so much damage that goes so far. And then he moves on and finds other women, and she's left to keep on talking about the brokenness. And this is not going to be a one-time interview. This is going to be going on for a long time, because a woman who will go to that depth, it takes a long time to recover from something like that. So I heard insecurity, but this also is a testament to how far a woman will go for the man she loves.
I like that, sir. Yeah. Go ahead, Luis.
Yeah, I like a lot of what the brother shared. My personal reaction to the video was, wow, she has hit rock bottom. I think even below rock bottom, right? One of the two things that, must have happened during the course of their relationship in their marriage was that he must have broken her during the course of their relationship to the point that she lost herself. She lost her identity. She lost who she was. She probably lost her foothold and groundedness. Because I thought at one point she was also religious, if I'm not mistaken. I thought she was a woman who also had a relationship with God too. Or, you know what I'm saying? This could be too. Or he found her already broken, insecure, with low self-esteem, and he preyed upon her, thinking that she might not do better than him. And to kind of to Sir Hale's point, like he must have been that guy that was able to kind of extract that she saw that in him. And as a byproduct result, she started to try to compare herself to other women, you know, because I mean, you got to think about the psyche of somebody in a relationship like that. That is supposed to be monogamous or supposed to be, closed on both ends, but it seemed like it was open on his end. He was never trying to become a husband, at least not to her. Because if he did, he would have built her up and would have put her in the type of position to seek help, to seek therapy, to seek help, to seek, other type of guidance. But instead, I think he allowed her to straddle along. And in the process, she was doing a whole lot that just didn't align with, the course of their relationship. I think the relationship was kind of one-sided, and she was in too deep to the point that she couldn't even see who she was anymore. She was seeing sort of a fragment. And to kind of hear a woman like that, and there's a lot of women out there who have gone through something like this similar, who probably haven't had the platform or the kind of space to share it like that in real time. And this is just the residue of just one of many women who have gone through what it appears to be a very toxic and tumultuous relationship. So, I mean, I feel for her. But yeah, just one of those sad situations.
All right. Right on with that, like you ready.
I'm trying to be. Is my feedback? I think is still acting up a little bit.
No, it's good.
Oh, okay, cool. I think I'll take the different perspective on that. I think that she was cool with it. It just now it's an opportunity to market the situation. Because as she said herself, she was going and watching she was watching sex tapes of her husband with somebody else, and then trying to emulate those in the bedroom. That's a mindset that is definitely off, but at the same time, she was cool with it until it was exposed out in the public forum, in my estimation, because it wasn't until one of the mistresses kind of said something that there come a situation where she had an issue with it. I mean, even the interview that she did with him, I mean, nobody at that time had an idea of that she had put this much energy in trying to keep him. The way that it looked is that she had just found out about the scenario in which he was cheating on her. That's what it seemed like. I'll say from my perspective anyway.
But do you think? I don't think that says
so I can't finish it.
My bad. Go ahead, man. I had a question, but go ahead.
No worries. And so I would say that now is a good time to market the situation and make herself seem as the victim, when in fact she was fully aware of that her husband was cheating, and she wanted to keep him, and she watched her husband have sex with other women. So
I mean, I'm curious. Did she walk into that situation full-minded and open to the possibility of this going on, or was she like really truly blindsided? You know what I'm saying? Because I think that if she was really for it, right, she would have started off in the beginning. Like, I've always been a person who was curious. I've always been, open and, adventurous in my previous relationship. She would have at least started with a theme that would at least presented herself this type of behavior. But from the way she had presented and also the videos from before, like how she looked, she was never well kept. She never looked like a kept woman. She looked kind of crazy in some of the
She was
videos
a
she had
she was a
before.
broken woman. She was
Yeah,
broken.
yeah. But was she broke? But see, when she was introduced, I'm curious, was she broken prior? Because it seems to me, that's why I gave those two scenarios. She must have been broken prior to their, the development of their relationship, or he broke her at some point in their relationship.
So, Wendy, what was you gonna ask?
I was gonna say, damn man, shit, I should have wrote it down. But you said that what did you say? God damn it. What did you say?
I think that it's a marketing ploy.
Okay. So I disagree, because do you really believe that she watched those videos? I think she was trying to save her marriage. I think you're absolutely right. She was trying to keep her husband, but I don't think that was in a way that you believe that it was, where she was watching this man have sex because she was cool with it. I don't think she was ever cool with it. You know what I mean? I think that was just her reaction of, my man is out here sleeping with other women. What is it about them that makes him want to sleep around with them instead of me?
She was obsessed with other women sleeping with her husband.
That's not what she said.
She did it multiple times.
But that's not what she said. She said that
that's
she
what
knew
her behavior was.
She knew other women. That's because she was trying to compare herself with them. She wasn't obsessed with watching them, like seeing her man sleep with other women and getting off on it. She was broken and saying, how do I keep my man? Do I do what they do? Do I move like they move? I mean, am I the only one that got that from this?
Stop. Let that sit there.
What a woman.
My page where I have a post that says, I knew her body better than I knew my own.
Stop. Let that sit there. You said you knew another woman's body better than you knew your own.
Yes, several women. I knew several other women's bodies better than I knew my own. And I spent a lot of time, like I went in such a deep hole where I was like studying these women. I would go to their profiles and I would study their pages and like what they wear. I knew when they had met up. So I watched their videos of them having sex. So I would try to imitate that. Yeah. And recreate that in our relationships so that he could choose me and want me.
Yeah, and she was in competition with them.
That is a low point to be, and I'm tearing up a little bit because I hate that I even got to a point where that was a thing, but that it was just that. And so I knew several other women's bodies better than I knew my own. I completely lost myself. I became a shell of myself. I tried to imitate their hair, their actions, even sexual things that I had seen him doing with them. I tried to recreate that in our life when we were engaged, and none of it amounted to anything.
That's called obsession.
Yeah, but who presented her the videos? Who presented her the videos?
That's not
doing a sexual act with multiple different women at different points in time, and presented the video and was like, "This is what I like. This is what I enjoy, and this is what I."
No, I think what he did was he did it. What's crazy is he did it live in front of us. He confessed to her live on camera. I think he did exactly what he thought he was trying to do.
That's not what was asked.
I had a point that I was
most women and went through his stuff.
She said
she probably went through his
in her own words. He said she studied. That's an obsession.
Obsession and competition can both be true.
Yeah,
you can be in competition and be
obsessed.
If you're in competition with somebody, you're obsessed with trying to beat them.
And it can all be fueled by your insecurities, your personal insecurities.
That's very fair. My statement was that I think that it's a part of a marketing because, she decided to go on his particular show. You know what I'm saying?
Let
me explain why real quick, and I'll end for sure. The reason why I say that it's a marketing tool is because, are y'all familiar with his platform?
No.
Okay. For those that are not familiar with his platform, he is, and I'm a little biased. Like, I know somebody that knows him, right? And so I'm a little close to the scenario more than others. And so his show is about finding a wife. That's the name of his show, right? And he brings on typically married couples that talk about their relationships, how they're doing well, and how did they find their wife or husband. And then there was a viral clip where the lady lost her. She's a comedian. She lost her wig. I don't know if y'all remember that one.
Yeah,
It
I
was on
remember
his
that.
show, okay, and it went viral, right? And he blew up because of that, okay. And so he kind of segued into some other avenues, but typically what he is talking about is how to have a healthy marriage and how to look for a spouse.
Well, I would think
That's why I say that it's a marketing ploy.
I wouldn't say that it's a marketing ploy. I think that he probably did. Maybe he reached out to her. I can't assume her intentions. You know what I mean? I think it's unsafe to assume her intentions behind her going out of her, you know what I mean? Because we've seen her unravel on camera. So, you know what I mean? This ain't the first time she's made a video. As a matter of fact, shout out to AP, the accountability partner. Now, even though he says he doesn't feel sorry for her, but he even went on to say that before she ever got with him, yeah, she used to compete with his college girlfriends to try to get with him. So this isn't new to her. And I think, honestly, Derrick Jackson might have knew that, and he played on her insecurities.
So let me take a different approach. Let me address Humble Dad and his point. So this is one of the reasons why I dislike the overuse of social media. Because with the advent of social media, everybody has a platform. Issues that would normally affect real people, we have so many different ways to take it, and we can assume that it's for attention, it's for notoriety, it's for clout, it's for prestige, it's for ratings, and it makes it difficult for people. So let's say that it's true with them. Let's say this whole big ordeal is going to generate great numbers, is going to get more revenue, but for the people who this represents, this is oftentimes why people don't come out and say anything. Because if they come out and they open up and talk about their experience, it's so unbelievable to us. We think it must be out. It must be something used for marketing. But the truth is, this is real people's life. It's just that now, because we are so less personable with each other, we can't really talk. We have to find some level of comfort from strangers, because typically the people around us can't imagine us dealing with something so. To be honest, I guarantee you, when she looks back, she can't believe the stuff that she went through. Right? She probably can't. If she looks back and think about, and she replays this video and think about what she's admitted that she's done, in a couple years, she won't be able to believe it. The people around you typically can't believe it as well. And this is why I hate social media, because we don't believe anything anymore. We've seen so much. We've seen the worst of worst. And when somebody comes out and talks about the depths that they degraded themselves to win the approval of somebody, we can't believe it, because we've seen so much, and we reduce it to marketing because we no longer are able to simply understand that somebody had a human experience that is almost unfathomable. So we just reduce it down to marketing. And I think it speaks to the times we live in. We can't heal because nobody believes in pain anymore. Everything is about marketing. Everything is about ratings. And I think that this obviates a deep problem we have in our personal relationships with people.
May I respond? Or can I respond to that?
Yeah. Go ahead, respond with that.
Okay. I appreciate your perspective. I'm saying, because I'm as close to the scenario than most, is the reason why I'm saying it. I wouldn't necessarily say I would say it otherwise, right? What I'm saying to you is that his platform is not centered around heartache and heartbreak of a woman that has been scorned. Is what I'm saying. That's not his platform at all. This is the one time that I can remember, because I've watched him pretty regularly, and the other gentlemen, they can vouch for it, that he typically is promoting marriage. That's his stance for the past maybe 3 or 4 years, right?
Yeah.
So this is a very much of an outlier for him to do. So that's why I would say that.
Right. So that may be marketing for him, but it may not necessarily be marketing for her. She might have came on and she might really be pouring her heart out, and he probably be just saying it was the opportunity to get some ratings. So
let me make sure I understand Humble Dad real quick. Okay, so he's saying based on his platform, he typically promotes marriage. Are you suggesting that this is employed not only between her but her husband to create this narrative of how bad their marriage is and how far it's gone, only for them to both come back to his platform and talk about how they marriage survived this as some form of like a series of episodes or something like that?
Are they still married? Are they still married legally?
Oh, they still. I don't know if they're still married. What I'm to be clear, what I'm saying is I don't know. Right. This is my opinion. Right. And so I'm just providing my particular perspective, and I'm okay with the disagreement. What I'm saying is, she could have chose any particular platform that is involved around her particular circumstance, to kind of be in that particular sphere, that market, or that genre, right? But she chose the guy that promotes marriage, is what I'm saying. So that's just my take on it.
So what would be your take if she was on a different platform, like let's say like The View or something, where it's more, or something that's more centered around women?
Well, it's not, but I mean, my take would be one of authenticity. And like I said before, I mean, she was obsessed with other women. I'm sorry, no, I said that wrong. She was insecure enough to be okay, stay in the marriage, knowing that her husband is cheating on her, and then trying to emulate what these women were doing to her husband.
Well,
So,
okay.
What if she's not the only one? What if other people don't realize that they're trying to emulate that? Because a lot of times women will find these things out and they'll stay. They'll cry their eyeballs out and then stay. What if they hadn't internalized the fact that, or processed the fact that they actually maybe try to emulate that as well? They say maybe he likes this, so maybe I'll do more of this. Maybe I'll be more open to BDSM or something like that because I see that he's into that. After she finds out he's into it and they have a conversation, maybe that is just a thing. Maybe she just outwardly says that that's what I'm trying to do.
I will piggyback and I will say, I think actually that aligns. What she said actually aligns with this platform a lot. If you think about it, if he speaks about the success of marriages and things like that, sometimes you also have to talk about the failures or the problems that may occur. This is one of those things that a married couple would have to experience. Like, obviously, she has a very extreme version of that. But I think that would create a very good conversation in this space when talking about how people keep their marriages together. And I think that would create a different kind of conversation.
well, then why not have both of them there?
Because I don't think she wants to be around him.
But think about it. But think about it. DJ Vlad has had everybody that surrounded the whole Tupac situation, him losing his life. They will. It could be a buildup. It could be a buildup to try to coerce him to be there. And then look what's happening. Car's not the only one that's sharing this. So absolutely makes sense to do it. Like, why wouldn't he do it?
I just want to focus on the issue that she communicated. You know what I mean? She communicated she was cheated on by a dude she loved, and we're talking about what platform that she. I think this is a problem. I think this is a problem in modern. This woman was broken.
I'm with you, sir.
This woman was broken. This woman went through, and I'm pro man. You guys know my content. When I see this, first of all, let's put some things out on the table. She actually is attractive. If you look over the last couple of years in comparison to how Derek Jackson presents himself, if you look at that, it started to look like she didn't fit with him. When I look at this video, there's a couple of things that I can derive from this. Number one, a man should have been bigging up his wife. Anytime a woman goes on other women's platforms and she's trying to compete with other women, that means that there's an opportunity for the man to build her up that he hasn't taken advantage of. That's the first thing. When a woman, particularly if you've made her feel like she can't compete and she can never win you, it makes sense why she comes out any kind of way, because she feels like she's already lost. And whether we like this or not, most women don't have the ability to dress beyond how they feel. How they look is typically how they feel. If they carry themselves up in a certain way, well, at least that day, that's how they feel. If you get a woman to present herself in a way in public, online, where she's not dressed up, she ain't done nothing with herself, she's defeated. And you got to really ask yourself why that is. It is because after looking at other women, seeing her husband, and knowing that there's nothing she can do to compete, there's nothing she can do. She could try to become another woman, but deep down, she realizes that if he accepts that, then he's not really in love with her. He's fallen in love with a version of her that reminds her of somebody else, so she can't win. So I think this is the real issue, and this is what we got to focus on. Forget the marketing part. This is a broken woman, and this is a problem. If we're going to talk about love and relationships and men being men, well, then Derek Jackson has to be held accountable for doing this level of damage to a woman he said he loves. And the last thing I'll say is this: we got to stick to this, because in these times, it is so women aren't this, women aren't that, women need to fix this, women aren't so and so and so. And there's a lot of truth in that. And I think that this conversation has become so big that when we see a woman who was at least trying, now we could say her methodology was off, we could say she was insecure, but when we see a wife trying, we're more prone to focus on the negative of that, on the possibility that maybe this is a marketing ploy, than sticking to the issue at hand and realizing that a wife tried to be one and she got broken in the process.
And Sir Hill, you are absolutely correct. And I'm noticing, and to kind of like cycle it back around, let's say for the sake of argument that she was this way before she ever got with Derek Jackson. Let's say she was incomplete. How many times we told women we've seen Kevin Samuels build this platform talking about how women need to be in competition with the women around them. I think she did it in the most unhealthy way, where she tried to emulate the women that were around him. But I can't honestly sit here and say I don't think Derek Jackson knew that. I can't honestly sit here and say that he didn't know that she was trying to screw like the other girl, or wear her hair like the other girl, or dress like the other woman. And I think he played on her insecurities. We know in real time, we watched him hype up himself and talk bad about the men around him, talked about how bad it was to cheat on your women and things like that. And he was literally doing it as he was speaking. And then we watched a woman break down live in front of us. We seen the path that she went. You can't tell me that he didn't know this, or that he didn't break her or play on her insecurities and broke her even further. Because even if she did do all of that to get his attention, he still married her. And not only did you marry, you still wind up cheating on her.
Yeah, I think I don't want it to get twisted. I think Derek Jackson is a joke of a human being, personally, just because he plays on we already see that. I mean, he plays on women's emotions. I mean, that's how he built his platform. The question was, what do I think is, what was my response to what she said, and based on the information that I see, yeah, she has insecurities, but remember, as her statement says, she studied other women, right? The question would be like, why would what was so great about him for her to want to stay with this dude? Right. And to the point of that, she would go and have sex with this dude, knowing that he's having sex with other women. But in the beginning, it made it seem as if she didn't know anything about it. If you follow the story, is what I'm saying.
But is there an instance where she said she didn't know? That I don't know that there is. Now we can look and we could assume based off of what we see, but I don't think that there was any indication that she said she didn't know. And I'll go with your example. Let's say she did know. Let's just say for argument's sake that she did know. Even people who do know, there's levels to it. There's some things you just don't do. right? Let's say that she say, you know what, I recognize that you are in the world's opinion a high value man. You got clout, you got money, you got looks, and let's say she went. At some point, there's limits to this, and when you can go so far with his message about, I remember hearing him say things about women are you're excellent, and a man who can't see how excellent you are don't deserve. I mean, he would just go off, and he's doing the very thing he's talking about to his wife, right? So the way that I'm seeing this is, even if she did know, even if she was competing, unless to be fair, she does have some responsibility in sticking into it. But the truth is, in relationships, sometimes you go further than you actually are aware of. And just because you have some things you need to work on doesn't give the person you with license to exploit that. And I think that's what happened. So we flip this around, and let's say that his wife, Dania, was the one who was, prominent social media, and she did this to him. And it came out, and he was doing the interview saying that, I saw my wife doing this with other men, and I studied other men because I was trying to win her. I think this conversation wouldn't be the same. Right, we will be dogging her for what she did. She's a modern woman. We really wouldn't be. I'm talking about most men, not thinking intellectual men. We would have took this and run. This is why you don't want to get married in 2023, because this is how all wives are. It seems like when it's with men, we find little outs to give them. So she knew about it, and therefore she knew about it. Well, it shouldn't matter as much. That's kind of how it comes off.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell you what it probably was. She probably knew about it. It's probably been going on for a while, but what women don't like is the public embarrassment.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that once the story unfolded, and she's kind of put in a situation. I mean, it's kind of really hard to say that's not true when the evidence is out. So I think when it became public, it just changed the whole dynamic of it. Now, when it went public, you had two things that was going on. She's feeling embarrassed, and everybody knows about her broken marriage. And then you also have, Derrick Jackson, his brand is being ruined. So I'm pretty sure, him still being the man of the house, he probably said, look, this is what we're going to do. And she might have already been broken. So when he's presenting this message to her, she's going to probably just go with it because she don't know what else to do. I mean, this is anything that happens like that comes out. It just destroys everything that's around. Like, nobody really can actually say, I have a plan for this to ever happen. So once it happened, she probably might have had some conversations and probably came to her senses. She might have went through some therapy, and she probably got herself back up. But she might have known all along. But I don't think people really realize that when a woman is broken, how the mind works. I mean, people do it all the time. Even the people around you, you just don't know about it. It could be happening right now. It could be people that are struggling. It could be people that are assuming a lot of different things with their marriages. It's people that you think, it's people that have probably had somebody step out within the marriage, but the difference is you guys just don't know. So
yeah, just want to double down on one quick thing, man. We I think, after thinking about it more, we may make women feel insecure more often than we think. If you really think about it, right? Say your lady has had your kids. You may have 2 or 3 kids, and she's gained some weight, and all you following on Instagram is slim chicks or chicks with fat asses and chicks that look nothing like her. You know what I'm saying? At some point, maybe she has to internalize that when she sees, you liking these pictures, you following these chicks. Maybe you leave a comment and she sees that. Do we think that they don't internalize that? What if your chick is following nothing but dudes, light skin or dark skin, with perfect beards and perfect muscles? You know what I'm saying? At some point, you're like, damn, why is she following all the gym bros? You feel me? So I think maybe there are things that we do that our person may internalize that we don't even think about because we just do it. And at some point, if they come across that, I can understand how they would start to study it and become obsessed with it. And maybe feel like they need a BBL. Maybe feel like, damn, well, what can I do? Is this what he really likes? Does he really like me? So I don't know.
So when do you take a stance on that certain stuff? Like, if you see your girl following all these dudes and doing all this on social media, that's when you say something. We don't see the conversations that they probably were having in between all this stuff. Like she says something about the chicks instead of going to study them and seeing what he says in response to that. So just taking a stance for yourself.
I think that's a fair point, but I think it depends on your personality type. She doesn't. Well, one, she seemed like she was determined to be the supportive wife in public, and we don't know whether or not she did say something behind the scenes. But I do think maybe it depends on the life cycle of the trauma. You know, maybe it depends on where she is in that process. Maybe she didn't want to reveal it, because I've been in a situation before where, I mean, my wife, she knew everything I was doing, but you know, she was holding on to it for a while to gather more information. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. And we talked about this before with some my group of people that I talk with. The trauma, and if it warrants you to be in a relationship. Like if you can't stand up for yourself in a relationship, you shouldn't be there. I think
I agree, but you know, I think one way, just me personally, one thing I try to be mindful of now that I wasn't mindful of before. I try to create an atmosphere that's conducive to communication. Most of the time in relationships, there's always something punitive attached to telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the culture that we cultivate within our relationships. So lots of times your partner cannot be a soft spot to land, even when you want to tell them the truth. And so we don't tell the truth. We avoid the truth. So I agree with what you're saying, but it's like, are we cultivating that? I'm not sure.
And see, that's man, what you're saying is real, but I think it's just when you dig it down deeper, when you start that question, if your person isn't a safe place to land, then that's when you need to start questioning whether that's the right person. Like if you can't trust it, you can confront or be honest or talk about your insecurities and all that stuff. That's an assessment of your relationship.
Excellent point.
Yeah, that's a so true point. Yeah, I've said this before. You know, people today are more pickier about the food that they eat and consume in the places that they go and sit at and experience than the sharing the most intimate things about what is on your mind with the person. They'll share everything down to their body. You know what I'm saying? People today will share and be picky about food, places they go, and experiences, but they are very willing to, share their body and appropriate with people that they are not, mentally aligned with. And sort of that's the thing that gets me is that if you got to a point where you can't share what the most intimate things that are on your mind and that's plaguing you, but yet you're sharing and doing all these other things, right? Then you are by far disconnected in that relationship. You know what I'm saying?
That's the easy route. Easy come, easy go.
Yeah. But doesn't it depend on what mode you're in? I think once again, speaking for myself, I went years and years being emotionally unavailable. I could be in a relationship, but I was emotionally unavailable. So I could disconnect my emotions from the situation of things. And it didn't matter who the woman was on the other side. I was going to fuck you over. You can be perfect. And this is a real life example. You didn't matter how perfect you were. I was going to get supplemental vagina. I was just in that mode. So I understand what you're saying, and that's a fair point. But I think it depends on the person, and you know what type of mode you're in.
You know what? That's a really good point, Sean. And the reason I say this is because we all have the right answers when we're not in a bad relationship. Isn't it amazing? Like how we can have all the answers to provide, feedback for other people for what they're dealing with, and then when you're in it, you really can't see all, and you don't have all the answers. And I think that's a testament as to why other people are important, because sometimes you're not aware of how bad you might be or how bad of a situation you're in until somebody who's outside of the smoke you're inhaling can tell you, hey bro, that the air is a little thick. You probably want to get away from that smoke. Is clogging your lungs, right? So I think this is why friends and a good support system and having therapy, things like that make a difference, because you can get stuck in the trying loop where you're trying to make it better, you're trying to change, and you're so stuck trying that you can't see that you're spinning your wheels. And I think this happens for both men and women. So it goes back to, I want to say, Chris Featherson said. So, oh no, I'm sorry, and Louise said, it's about, you know, being with somebody you mentally align with, but then it's also about you being the right person. And I think that if we put more time on making sure that we are the right person and that we are really working on ourselves and we care about the experience the other person has with us, I think that contributes to a more positive relationship as well.
Yeah, but I also wonder what happened to her. Like, she had to have family, close friends, a sister group, whatever the case may be, prior to her getting in a relationship with him. You know what I'm saying? There was some sort of supporting background. It seemed like either she isolated her away from them or she never had it.
Now, see, when a woman loves you, bro, she'll give that up if she thinks it's going to get in the way. But this is what I'm saying. A woman's love is, it's, so you got fire, you got earth, you got wind, and then you got a woman's love, right? It is a powerful force.
But it wasn't love. She clearly said it was an exception.
So what
it
you're
was more of
saying,
an exception than it seemed than love.
when
Like,
you say
you try to mask the two together and disguise it and market it as love, but deep down, a part of it was an exception.
I think you're assuming her again. We're assuming her feelings. I think she can love someone to the degree in which it becomes an obsession.
Yeah.
I think, and given the context of what he did, I can see. I honestly, like I said, I think this will be. It's over. It's extreme, but I can see a woman doing that. I can see a woman seeing her, noticing that her man is cheating on her, and start to try to compete with the women that he's cheating on her with.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was just gonna say, because there's no reason for her to have to compete unless she sees that there's competition. You know, so she may have found some things, she may have seen some things, and it's a buildup. And then so by that point, you know, she hasn't fully lost herself. It's like, oh shit, like I don't want to lose them, especially if they got so much time, kids, you know, maybe they had some properties, whatever. They just had a lifetime built, and
or let's say it was her strategy. That's how she got her man, and she thought that she could do the same thing to keep him. She got her man by competing with the women. She got married to him or whatever, because according to the AP, she was doing this to get him. So maybe that was her strategy to try. So she was like, if it worked to get him, it'll work to keep him.
But what do you get? And I'm gonna go back to what Sir said about a woman's love. If a woman's love is that powerful, that means it needs that much proportional discipline. When you have something that's big, dangerous, you need that much discipline to go with it, or you're gonna hurt somebody, including yourself. You have to be emotionally disciplined before you get into a relationship. And if you can't, you shouldn't be there. And I always say, like, honestly, like, falling in love is dangerous. It is. When you're in love, you can't really see what's going on. Like you guys are saying, sometimes you can't get the proper spacing to really assess what's going on. I think you have to preside over your love to really assess your whole relationship. And that means getting out of your feelings. When you spend too much time in them, you're going to end up doing something irrational every time.
All right, last thing, and Ajay, can I say this last thing? So we talk a lot about submission. We, you know, in these conversations, it's a big thing. Whoa, you saw submission, right? You saw submission. She submitted. Now, this goes back to what we were talking about earlier before. You have to be with a man who honors that submission. Like, submission ain't you do whatever I want you to do or whatever I tell you to do. If submission to a man makes a woman go against her values and morals, then that speaks to the caliber of the man. And so it's incumbent on the man to make sure that he's not putting his wife in a position to undermine her values, which undermines her as a woman. And eventually, like, let's say this didn't come out. Even if it didn't come out the way that it did, it was destined to break at some point, because you can't break a wife and then expect a fixed marriage. It doesn't work that way. So I think in all of this, the lesson for us men is, if you have a wife that is being a wife, she's submissive, and you can see her effort, you have the ability to make good on that and make her a better woman for the way she's coming after you. Or you can drive her in the dirt, you can drive her into the ground, you can drive her to insanity. Because whether we believe this or not, guys, if you really look at what love is, there's a close link between love and insanity. Like the length that you will go to what looks crazy to other people to keep a relationship going, sometimes love looks like insanity. And I think in this instance, I think we see this playing out in real time.
But let me put my input. Chris, is that what we would want from our women to do? It's just unfortunate, I guess. She just had bad leadership. It's just unfortunate, but
He was not suitable.
You said what, Lou?
He was not suitable.
No, not at all. And I think that was just an unfortunate thing that she loved him that hard that she I guess went to that what we consider extreme for him. Unfortunately, she fell in love with him like Lou said, a unsuitable man, or a man with lack of leadership and real morals.
This is why alignment is so important. Just because, like you said, the love and insanity part, I think that's the thin line, because when you place that love in the wrong place, that's when it turns to insanity. But if I spend enough time with a woman and realize that we are aligned and that she walks the same walk that I have, we have similar values, when I place that love with her and me walking my path blindly or with blind faith isn't going to seem so crazy because we're walking together in it. Like, I'm not going to be walking by myself. I think that's the most important thing. But then you have people that fake. You can have women that they'll just talk about, well, you'll have women that'll take my values that I give her and mirror them. I value integrity. And then the woman that wants me so bad, she'll pretend, yeah, I have morals and all that stuff. And then later down the line, you realize that they don't. So it's tricky. But
yeah, they're mirroring you at the end of the day.
Yeah, and that's what she was doing with him, that supposedly.
And let's not forget, he was a college athlete. He's in great shape, and the women think he's very attractive. So why wouldn't she compete?
Yeah.
What do you guys think of this? I think most men who are going to underperform in their relationship because they're uninspired to become the men that they're supposed to be, because they know they're with the woman that they don't want. I don't think that he wanted her. You know what I'm saying? I think that I think that he thought that they were compatible. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing about compatibility. You know, people say, "Oh, you got to be compatible to be compatible." I call cap. You know, compatibility is to live with someone without conflict, right? And we know that in relationships, there are conflicts that tend to arise. And so for me, that's why I go back that they weren't suitable for each other. They might have been compatible, they weren't suitable. He was not the suitable man that she needed, right? But I think that he kind of took advantage of that and exploited it.
But I think what you're saying is real, but there's another layer, because compatibility is only measured by intent. Like, me and your intentions have to be 50 years married, honestly and loyally. If our intentions match on that, great. But what if my intention is to just take advantage of you for 10 years? I see you're going to cook for me and clean and do this stuff and not ask any questions. I see you're just going to compete with the woman that I want to be with and try to emulate that. So I see opportunity in being with you because you're going to make this easy. I'm going to get all the wifely benefits. I'll get to do what I want and all that's well and good. You're compatible with me because my intention is dark and you're easy. I can place that. I could put you in that dark world and you'll live there just fine. You're compatible with me. But go ahead.
You know what, guys, these are really great points. But I want to tackle something Louise said. As a 16-year-old, married for going on 16 years, it'll be June 21st, 16 years. Let me tell you something about marriage. You're not going to always want the person you're with, right? You're going to have days where, listen, this woman is crazy. This woman gets on my nerves. This woman talks too much. This woman, her feet stink. And let's be honest, sometimes she's not going to want to be with you. When you make a commitment, though, You submit your wants to the decision you made to be with somebody. And I think one of the premier issues that is wrong with this generation is we care too much about what we want and how we feel. And until we put those things in check, we're going to keep on cheating on our spouses. We're going to keep on destroying our families up until we get about 55, 60 years old and we have no legacy. We're ruined. Our reputation is gone. And all the likes we had on Instagram, all the people who liking your stuff now, you won't know them in 5 years. Right. So I think we focus too much on want and on too much how we feel. And if you're going to be married and with somebody for any length of time, you need to get this in your head today. You're not going to always want them. Submit your want to your decision.
Maybe it's a thing that I wish I would have watched the entire episode so that I can get more context and be able to provide a better reasoning of what it is that I'm saying. I checked the article that says it's on what's this Atlanta Black Star, and she talks about how she was obsessed and had idolized him. That's what she said. She said she idolized her husband, and so as a result of her idolizing her husband, I would imagine that even though he was doing what he was doing, because she idolized him, she was trying to make it a way to where she would still be with him. So she obsessed herself with being able to see how she could compete with these other women. But at the same time, I know the statement was that people do crazy things involved in a, when they're involved in infidelity and in the relationship. I can understand that to a degree. But at some point, you have to say, you know what, enough is enough. And the only time that she seemed to do that was when she got publicly humiliated, right? And she also said that she was trying to, and I commend her for this part. She said that she was trying to stay in it because God hates divorce, right? But it also says that she has an opportunity to get out if it's infidelity that takes place, right? But she said, you know what, I'm gonna still try to work it out. But he obviously was not concerned about her enough to even stop. And so at some point, she should have taken it upon herself and said, I gotta go, before it got to the point of where it was public humiliation. Because it's still, if her mindset is that God hates divorce, it doesn't change because other people know that he's cheating on you.
Now, just for perspective, they met sophomore year in college. They started dating, I should say, sophomore year in college, and they had kids the first kid she was pregnant with even before they got engaged. So bear in mind that they've been together since they were really young, and they kind of grew up together, if you think about it in that respect, or grew to be adults together. And also, once you get kids involved, things do get different. So, I mean, I think that matters.
We got to transition from this and get to the main topic. Guys, just tuning in. Welcome to King Talk. Make sure you hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Great perspectives on that topic. I didn't think it was going to go like that, but a lot of things were said. I think men and women can appreciate what they've heard, and hopefully we're able to save some marriages with that dialogue. That being said, we do have a few super chats that came through. Eugene Steele, $10. Also, a member says, this is what insecurity sounds like. A woman imitating others to please her man instead of being herself. If a mate does not like or love you for who you are, don't waste your time and energy. Salute to you, Mr. Steele. Appreciate that. This is one we saw already. The AP accountability partner, $20. Also, remember, says, guys, this is a trend for her. She did the same thing in college to get him. She emulated women he was dating and placed herself in his orbit. There's so much more. I don't feel sorry at all. She's manipulating her way to his life. So, all opinions. I mean, we got a few stories, but we'll never know. Embrace the grace. $5. Also, member says, we just have to have real conversations and embrace communication to prevent heartaches, pain, and trauma. Appreciate your transparency, Sean. I mean, that was pretty real. And having these conversations, sometimes we look back and realize how much damage we was doing. And I think that's the part that, as men, we don't really understand how we contributed to this broken community that we speak about all the time. And it only makes sense when we ask what we want that to would we want that to happen to our daughter? That seems to be the only time that we really think about it. Otherwise, we're just going out here just being reckless. So I think one of the messages we need to preach to the young men is to make sure that they vet properly and to make sure that they have discipline in everything that they're doing, including sex. And hopefully, you kind of hope for the best at that point. But if you think before you do, I think that will probably save a lot of time, headaches, and money, because it does get expensive when you start having these kids everywhere and then getting married and divorced and all that good shit. So that being said, let's go ahead and get to the main topic. Hit the like button. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Shout out to the sponsor, Teach Hanley. Next topic. The better we are as women, the better men can be as men. We're going to play this.
One thing we forget is that the better we are as women, the better men can be as men. The softer we are as women, the stronger they get to be as men. And when we are their soft place to fall, they stand with a different height and a different posture and a different elevation. One of the challenges that we're facing right now is that women want men to be their girlfriends and men come home to find another dude.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about it, man. I did see this and seen so many comments. Let me see. I think I might have had something that somebody said. I want to get you guys' thoughts about it. The better we are as women, the better men can be as men. You guys agree with that? Okay. Anybody can go first.
I mean, women set the requirements of what men are, and so what type of man they want, right? So men kind of alter ourselves to fit that description in some regards, right? We talk about it all the time. Well, some of y'all anyway. Men need to get their money up. Men need to get in shape, because these are the things that women want. You need to have be a man of good character and things of that nature and morals. And so the requirement that women have, men are trying to do that or become that in some regard. So if a woman is just going to let a dude smash, then that's what some dudes are going to do. Right. If a woman says, listen, you're gonna have to open my door as we are courting, then that's something that he's going to do. If she says, or he's not, right, he's going to say, you know what, that's not something that I want to align with, whatnot. So I definitely, if we just keep it on the statement of course, the better a woman is, the better caliber of man that she will get. That's my estimation.
Man, go for it.
I'm with you, Humble Dad. I think men acquiesce to the standards of women, and we go the path of least resistance. So the moment you say we don't have to do such and such anymore, or your behavior suggests it, i.e., we see that somebody else begins to get away with not having to do as much, we're not going to do as much. So I don't think that she's saying that for men to be good men, we're totally dependent on good women. I think she's basically saying that, hey, ladies, that by setting certain standards is going to create a different kind of man. You're going to get a different kind of result. 99% of the things that men have done probably in history have been for a woman. Think about how easy it is to entertain us. We still watch cars go around in a circle. They may move faster, but it's still the same concept. We still watch men dribble a ball and throw it in a hoop or throw a football. They may get bigger, they may get faster, but the concept is the same. Why do we create heat? Probably because the caveman was like, he was sitting in there and his woman was like, I'm cold. He was cool. He was wrapped up in this thing. He was like, God damn it, got to go make a fire. He was probably cool eating raw meat until she said, this shit is tough on my teeth. God damn it, got to cook the food now. Here, take it. Everything we do is for the comfort of our women. The moment women pull away from us, and we become the very enemies, and then we start to treat them like the very enemies that they treat us like, you're going to see a different world. What does a world look like when men no longer view women as something worth saving or protecting?
That's a scary world. I'll tell you that.
Man, I think y'all made some good points. The way I look at it is, I hate talking points, right? When people be like, be his peace and all that type of stuff, because I think people have make surface statements, but never break out what that really looks like, and never drill down. For me personally, like me being a businessman, I love when a woman is supportive. I love when I can come home and lay my head on her lap and she can rub my head. You know what I'm saying? And things like that. I love when they can actually listen and not pick at what I'm saying, not sift through what I'm saying to find something to have a gotcha moment, but literally listen to what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? And even provide some insight. And she said the key point that we talked about before, literally be your soft spot, a soft spot for you to land. To me, I value that, immensely. That means a lot for me. You know what I'm saying? We have so much trauma as a man. We have so many hard days. We got to figure shit out. We got to make shit happen. There are no excuses for us. We have to do it. If right now we heard that we had to walk to Arizona, we can't complain about it, or we can complain the whole way, but we got to walk there. You know what I'm saying? And so I just really think, man, inspire us. Make us feel good at the end of the day. Don't nag and shit when I get home. Make life easier for me. And I'm gonna try to make life easier for you. And the last thing I'm gonna say about that is some women will try to kind of bully you, kind of soft bully you into doing certain things. That's different from a woman who does everything right and makes you want to do everything you can to do those things that they're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? So,
when I see the text, the better we are as women, the better men can be as men. I think about we have to start by defining what a woman is and what a man is. And I think when you do that, just in my estimation, I'm not going to go that deep, but when women have certain boundaries and they are selective and they know what a real man is, and those are the only people or men that get their time of day, that will push the envelope with men. So I can see that being a case or a line item per se. But just taking our whole video at face value, I don't believe that we should be following women. I don't think that what women do should dictate how good of men we are. I think men have to follow something outside of themselves, higher than themselves, and that should dictate the terms. And then women will follow naturally, period, when we give them something to come into. So I think, I don't care what they're doing out there. This is what matters. These conversations that we're having here, or God, or a code, or some kind of standard. That's what we should be looking to. And then that should be what makes us better for them. So, yeah, all in all, I don't really agree. No.
Go ahead, I see Sweetie want to respond to it.
I was going to say, I think it's true that I think men do live by a code. I think it's two different types of code, though. There's a code in how you interact with women, and then there's a code in how you are as a person. So I think what you're saying is correct, that we should live by a certain standard, but I don't think that standard works when you're talking about encountering women. And that's what I mean when I say that women set the standard. Because if I can do all the good things to be a great human, but if that's not what attracts the opposite sex that allows me to be able to carry on my legacy, I'm going to acquiesce to what she thinks is attractive. So I agree with you that I think we should live by a certain standard, which I think that's why we create the laws that we create. That's why we do the things that we do. We create these things to create a standard, but that's to be a man in civilization. But when you're talking about dealing with women, I think somebody said it best in the comment section. There's a reason why the movement as far as the lowering of marriage rates and things like that also coincides with the rise of hookup culture. Men are like, hey, look, if this is all it takes to get you, then this is what I'm gonna do. But that don't make him a horrible man. That just means that hey, he's going
with the climate.
Yeah.
But I don't subscribe to that. Also, if we're doing that, then let's look at how hip hop has influenced us. And then what happens when it penetrates the culture to a degree to where only women entertain thugs and killers and drug dealers. Then we say, oh, that's what women like. So that's what we all need to go do. And that's going to deteriorate the whole community. I think
that's a good point.
So I'll say this. So men have to have a faith base. You got to have some faith. You got to have some faith. I believe in God. So if a man doesn't, if he's not grounded with some level of faith, he's going to live for whatever gives him that sense of purpose and meaning. And when men don't have that, the closest thing to do is go find a woman. It's an easy win. It's quick for validation. It's quick to make you feel like you are that guy. So to Chris's point, that's correct. We should not be living our lives based off of what women do or don't do. With that being said, however, a woman is made to inspire a man. So there was something naturally in her that makes men want to become better. And I think that that's so far lost now because for the most part, most men can't rely on women for that, right? A woman don't feel like she got to be inspirational or she has to be, of service to you or she has to provide joy or peace to your life. You need to come to the relationship and provide her with, a place to live, with some status. You need to be on your purpose. And then she gets you get some coochie once you made it to the finish line. So this sounds so so this sounds off base now, but it's a woman's job to inspire her man. It's a woman's job to make her listen. Let me give y'all some else. So when I was in my 20s, my marriage wasn't great. Like we'll be online and telling people, how to be married. We didn't like each other. Like it was terrible. Like we was faking it. I'm just being real with you. And now that we're in our 30s and we done lived through some things, let me tell you something. I'm going to be successful with or without my wife. That's just in my DNA. I'm gonna be successful. But with my wife, I turn into a much better version of myself, much more dominant, because there is something about that woman that inspires me to want to be even greater. That's what women are supposed to do. The issue we have is so many women are no longer helpmeets. They need help. So us men, our desire is to be fixer-uppers. So we find women that we got to fix up because she got daddy issues, she got mama issues, she got credit issues. You know what I mean? Her credit score is 3 and she earns $30,000 a week and she got 2 kids, right? So we find women who we got to fix up because it's in our nature to fix up. So to answer this question, yes, if women are better, we can be better. And the reason why is because we're not spending all of our time fixing you. We get a chance because you're healed and you're whole. We get a chance to focus on our purpose and to do things that leave legacy. So if women are better, then men can be better as well because we don't have to fix them.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree with what Sarah was saying because to that point, like you said, I don't want no fixer upper because now I got to waste my time and energy on like Sarah said, building her up or help her get to that point. But we all know as men, most men wouldn't get married unless a woman encourages or forces to. Most men wouldn't just voluntarily say, hey, I want to get married. Not for the most part. Now, if that's a requirement, now we're going to change. Now we say, okay, well, I'm willing to do that. If I want to keep this woman, if she's a good woman worth keeping around, I'm willing to do that. So, to me, I feel like a better woman can make a man better. Because he's going to go to the extreme. He's going to go that extra mile. Because first of all, we feel needed, we feel wanted, we feel appreciated. If she's a good that good and better woman that we're talking about, we'll go to the end of the earth for her, right? Especially a woman who's going to give us like Sean said, a soft place to land. Allow us to be vulnerable. Because like he said, we all know our men go through a lot of trauma. Being black man is trauma coming out the womb, right? So we already gonna go through it. But if we have some place I can come home to, and it's a peaceful, loving, understanding, open environment where I can unload and be on my soft side and just share it with her. Baby, man, it was rough. You know, we lost a lot of money on this sale. I lost a lot of money in this investment that I probably shouldn't have made, but got some inside trading from Martha Stewart, and it just didn't work for me, right? So I don't know what I'm gonna do. But she's gonna be right there. It's gonna okay, baby. We're gonna be all right. We'll make it. She's gonna encourage you, gonna look you, and guess what? You're gonna go out there and make the right deal the next time. You won't make that same mistake because you don't want to fail her. You don't want to disappoint her. You don't want to let her down. So yeah, I truly believe if a better woman can make a man better.
I mean, it's been said though. I'll say this just as one line that has been said. One of the greatest decisions that a man will make. I mean, for me, after Christ, following Christ, it will be who did he choose as a wife.
And to follow that up, I would say that women aren't supposed to inspire you. Your wife does. Your wife inspires you, but your wife is just a reflection of the work you've already done. We're not doing the work. We just hit 16, hormones go raging, and we go find the fattest, curviest thing out there and call her a wife before we even know what one is. And then we get into it, and then we trying to make her a wife, and it's just hustling backwards. Like your wife is what inspires you. That's why most of us, we're not sitting here thinking, well, for the most part, we don't start off saying, oh, I need to get married. We find the wife that inspires that.
Yeah. I just wanted to add, I'm gonna go to 22. I want to get your thoughts about what was said. I know you agree with him, but you did mention something about how men kind of get motivated by women. So I do want to hear how you can respond to what's been said after you said that. To Hink's point, real quick, it's not off topic, but when you are married and that man can come to you as an outlet, that is very important to that man. It doesn't mean that he's going to be less of a man. It doesn't mean that he can't thrive through the moment, he can't push through. Sometimes men just need an outlet to speak with. So you don't have to be so concerned, or are we going broke? Are we going to lose this? Sometimes a man just has a rough day, and because you're his wife, he's going to come to you. 9 times out of 10, when you do have a wife, that man is going to come to you majority of the time whenever he's really feeling it. And it takes a lot for a man to really go to a woman to express that, because men are trying to be strong every day. We have so much that we're going through. We're trying to conquer the world. So whenever he feels something, right? And when I say feel, because we all human. I think men to be lying. They say that they ain't ever felt something. They might have expressed it, but they probably felt some shit. But it still motivates you. Sometimes it's like, God damn it, because we want to solve all the time. We always in problems. Well, at least I am. I can count on my hands how many times I wasn't able to figure something out. So whenever I'm sitting here and I can't figure some shit, that shit bothered me. My head is killing me. Like, it has to be a way. Like, this just can't be the outcome, because to me, I determine a lot of my outcomes myself. I don't allow the world to do it. I like to have total control over my mind. I don't want me to be influenced by anybody. I don't want situations to control how I respond. So if I say I'm gonna do something, then I'm gonna do it. Like, I want total control of my brain. And that's why one of the most important things to me is me not to lose my damn mind. Because as we get older, we can see how certain things don't operate, they do. But I want to identify like the layers that seems to be going in different places. So if I'm forgetting shit all the time, I'm going to buy air tags. I'd be damned if my mind sit here and allow me to fucking keep losing shit. So I bought some goddamn air tags. I got that shit in my wallet, on my keys, and my AirPods. So, and I have used it like a lot of times because I want to be aware of what's going on, because some of these things we can't control. They just be happening. But I want to understand everything that's going on within me. And I want total control of my brain. I don't want to lose it at all. I gotta be in control of everything. So it's just me.
I think with what you're saying, we are imperfect, but I also think when we get attached to people and love and like idolizing and all that stuff starts to come in, I think it engages the ego to that same degree, to the point where we have to make it right because we don't want to look wrong. But I think we have to get to the point where, and I know this is going to sound cliche, and like Sarah, I'm a believer in God. I think you got to get to a point where you don't necessarily think right and wrong. You think turns in life. It's not about right and wrong. Like, just because this didn't work out doesn't mean you were wrong. It just means that's the turn that your life is going to make at this point in time. And I think a lot of the times when we're in relationships, it's hard for us because you can't dictate the relationship because you're in it with somebody else. But as men, I think we think if I just work hard enough, if I just do this, if I just do that, it'll work. But it's tricky. Like, you have to work with the person that you're with, and you got to understand that you got to take your ego out of it and stop trying to avoid being wrong or things not working out, and just work with the person that you're with as well as you can.
We also have to remember, I mean, because we're taking it from the position of, the better the woman is, I know me, as it says, the better the man can be. I mean, you have to look at it as a team. I mean, the reason why was if I come from a basketball terminology, was Michael Jordan great? Yes. Was Scottie Pippen great? Yes. I don't think they won without each other, right? I think they both were able to elevate each other because of their greatness, as well as any other duo that you can think of. However great a woman is, her man is going to be that much greater if he is doing the things that he's supposed to do, and vice versa. A man that is doing what he's supposed to do, he's been a great man. I would say more times than not, his woman is going to be better as a result of that. Of course, there are those situations where it's a good person and it's taken advantage of, as we were talking about in the last segment. It's very possible that she was a good woman and he was just a horrible dude, right? That's very possible that she chose wrong. But I would like to believe that if you're doing right, more times than not, you're going to be treated right as it relates into you in your marriage and in your relationship. So that's just my take.
I want to add one piece to this really quickly. I think it's really important to mention that. So a lot of the stuff we described what women do for us, right? And it's important. It's an important part. They inspire us, give us peace, so on and so forth. They're a soft place for us to lay on. But the heart of that is that woman has to be working on herself. So I'm gonna tell you something that I've noticed. So many women, when I ask them what books are they reading, they read things that are more affirmational. You are sweet. You are great. You are beautiful. You are amazing, right? Like it's feeding
like
their
an
ego.
Yeah.
Right. So, but it's actually developing character in them. And I think for any woman who's watching this, if you want to be a helpmate, and forget what all of these modern women are talking about, you can have more than that. You can go get the bag. Those women go home, 2 vibrators, to loneliness, and then a glass of wine. You don't want to be this way. So what you do is you take the time and you figure out what it takes to become a great woman. And this means you're reading stuff. You're taking advice from women who are married and have a life that you want to have, that you're not spending time around women who complain so much about other men. You're really investing in who you are as a woman, and then he benefits from that. So let me say this as well. Like I say, a lot of women would be like, I cook for my man, or I dress for my man. I go to work out for my man. Well, that's fine. But here's what happens when you do it for a man. As soon as he pisses you off, you stop doing everything you were doing for him as a way to punish him when you get upset. So it's incumbent, if you're going to dress up, do it for yourself. If you're going to work out, do it for yourself, because you're going to be going through the vicissitudes of life. And if you predicate what you do based on what he does, you're going to stop. So ladies, we don't just want you to do stuff for us. Most good men, I'm telling you, we love it when we see you leveling up. We love it when we see you doing work to build yourself. It makes us want to be better. It makes us want to do better. It makes us want to do more for you. So don't just do the stuff for us, because when you're mad, you're going to stop. I ain't cooking for nobody. Wash your own darn clothes. No, do it for yourself and work on you. And then we get a chance to benefit from who you are and not what you're performing because you think that's what we're going to respond to.
That's the funny thing about love, because if I love you, then I love when you're pouring into yourself. And I know that you pouring into yourself, I'm going to get some of that. And the same goes for myself. And it's supposed to be a circuit. We're supposed to be connected. It's supposed to be a cycle of that, of us helping each other love themselves correctly and them pouring into us and us pouring. And you know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be a cycle of that. So yeah, I definitely agree.
Oh. Go ahead, Swain.
Let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all ever think there was a time in history where men were not chasing tail?
No.
And let me explain what I mean by that, because I'm not just saying.
There was a time.
I'm not using it in the sense of just chasing ass just to screw like that. What I mean,
There was a time though.
What time was that?
Before there was women.
That is a brilliant answer, and it is accurate.
He's right, though. He is right.
God gave him a woman, and he instantly was
expecting some sort of time period, between like the medieval Empire.
I can't even. Holy shit! Hey, touche.
Touche,
my brother.
You know what I'll say in response to what you're saying, though? I think that there was a time when women were more attracted to genuine nature and a man on his path. And I think that's still prevalent today. But I think there's a difference between you chasing a woman and you attracting a woman. Like, I think we could see now, like, women, yeah, they attracted to NBA players and CEOs and all that stuff. But the one common denominator with those kind of men are they on their path and they're walking it. And that's what's attractive.
I would say this, though, and I'm glad you said that, because, again, I think men are very simple. We are a simple group of people. Do you believe that men's ultimate purpose has always been women and their children? Like, even when we say you're on your purpose, our ultimate goal is to not only attract the woman that we desire, but also to procreate with that woman and then create a legacy beyond that. Even when we talk about women and children first, we go out there and fight wars just so we can conquer land, so that we can make the women around us comfortable, so then they can take care of our children. So I believe that our ultimate purpose has always been our women. It's just that I'm in agreement with you. I don't think that we should allow the chase of tail, i.e. sex, deter us from understanding what we're supposed to be doing to create a better family and then a better community, which is still our women. We just chasing tail in a different way.
The chase is important, and I'll tell you why the chase is important. I don't want us to get away from this. So back in the older times, a woman would make a man chase her because she had to make sure he really wanted her. Because if he took her virginity and had kids, well, her value went down in society. So she had to put a little pressure on him to prove that, hey, I really want this. I think what has happened now is women aren't trying to prove whether or not he really wants you. She just like the attention that she gets from being able to reject. I don't respond on my DMs. Women today just want the attention. They're not really looking for him to prove. She just want to prove that she that girl. So I think there's a difference there.
Yeah, I think there's been a cosmic shift in what we're supposed to do. I think again we've made it very easy to create broken situations. Technology is a hell of a thing. I'm talking birth control, I'm talking social media, I'm talking TVs, camera phones, video games. Technology is a hell of a thing. And I think we created a situation where things got way too easy, way too fast. And now we're stuck in a situation where we moving into a modern time, and we as a human race has not caught up to what it is that we just created.
Our evolution has not caught up to technology.
Yes.
The way that we're hardwired, the way that we interact, the way that we mate, all that, over hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years has not caught up to the short technological revolution that has happened in the last 50 to 60 years. So I mean, I want to say a couple things. Women motivate men, but a man's wife inspires him. At least that's what I see, and why I have gotten out of this evening was that, women motivate men. They motivate men to go get a job, to look good, to smell good, to get a haircut, to be presentable, be in places where women congregate, right, and be in proximity. And then sometime in that development, when that man has selected a woman to be his wife, his life partner, then at that moment, that woman understands that she needs to inspire this man. You know what I'm saying? So I think we can't give credit to one, over the other. The other thing I wanted to kind of highlight was, damn, and you brought this up too, Sweeney. Shit, I'm blanking now.
Sweeney's always bringing up good stuff.
Yeah, I know, man. I'm like trying to catch up.
Come on.
It was about the whole like technology revolution shit.
We created a monster that made us monsters.
Yeah, it really has, because look, if we took it all away, let me tell you this. If tomorrow stopped and we took all of that away, if I flip the switch, we stop producing Plan Bs, we stop producing condoms, we stop producing, social media technology, and it all went away, we will revert back to our natural state of, mating and approaching each other. All this stuff
marriage rate.
I'm sorry?
I said 80% marriage rate, 80 to 90%.
I would think we will go back to that 80% marriage.
We got to go all the statistics then, because that means our lifespan gets much shorter as well. So there's a place for technology. It's just we've got to learn the difference between being more productive and actually being better people. So technology has made us more productive. It hasn't done a good job of making us better people. And I think that's what we have to focus on.
But why do you feel it hasn't made us? Well, I agree with that. Why you think we have reverted away from being better people?
Yeah, the acceleration of if I can have what I want right now without the consequences or the constraints of having to go get it. So
it's the delayed gratification.
So take for instance, it used to be. Now, fellas, who's the youngest? I'm 30. I'm 35. Who the youngest on here? Anybody in their 20s? Okay, good. So
I'm 33, so I think I might be the youngest.
Dang, you Jesus age. No money talking good tonight. So remember back when we was young, we would have to go talk to girls. Like I would be in church, right? And let me tell you how you flirt in church. You go write a note, right? So if you're in the youth group, you write a note, do you like me? Circle yes or no, right? And you had to sit there and wait and look at your friends passing her the letter and see how her response was going to be to know if you had a chance or not. We had to go do something. And in those times, you learn how to build confidence, how to have communication skills. I mean, you learn certain things. Today, you get a chance to create an avatar, put a filter on your pictures, scope yourself the way you want to be. You can go through, I forget Grammarly, and you can sound like you know what you're talking about when you don't speak well, but online, right, you sound very good. We don't have to be better. We just have to know how to use technology. And I'm saying that to say, I think that's what's wrong. We can rely on so much external stuff to give us the illusion that we're better than we are. But if you strip away all this other stuff, then no, you start to see who you really are. So to that point, technology shows us more of who we are. So if you want to be a thought, well, you're going to use Instagram to be a thought, right? If you have a message where you want to help people, you're going to use technology to do that. I'm just saying technology has made us more productive in doing that. It just hasn't made us better. It's actually revealed what we really are.
I was gonna say, I do believe that I don't think technology worked for men as well as we thought it would. I think for us, the ways are still the same. You still got to you still got to write the note, essentially. Like, you don't necessarily have to approach anymore. You could probably do it in numbers, so you don't have to. It's easier to send the same message over and over again. But more than likely, even when we wrote that note, it was the same note to every single girl we liked. It's just it was very few and far between. But our approach, I think men approach to dating is still the same. The technology just changed. But life has a way of humbling men. There is no way around it. We can't get around it. That girl we notice it. Dudes are getting rejected more now than they've ever been. It used to be that you may have only got rejected by 5 or 6 girls, and you know what I mean, because that's all you was willing to take. Or maybe 30 plus girls. Now you can get rejected by 200-300 girls over the span of a few weeks.
It's because of the accessibility. We have there's more women within reach, so that's going to increase that percentage of the rejection. And I'll say that I think I forgot which one of you guys said it, but we're not going to outpace technology because we see it as our evolution. And I think that the convenience robs you of that discipline. And I think discipline is what shapes you and gives you meaning. And when we lack meaning, we don't see the value in ourselves because we don't know ourselves. So how will we see the value in ourselves? Period. So we're going to carry ourselves as such. I think we're presented with many forks in the road. And I think to what Sarah was saying, the technology, it kind of dictates the choice. Like, it's like the fork in the road is not even equal anymore. It's like, why would I struggle uphill when I can just skate down this road right here? It's given to me. But that's it robs you. It literally robs you of yourself. Because we all know it. We all know when we go through something hard, it exposes who you really are. And I think that's why depression rates are up and suicides are up. People are committing suicide because they don't even know who they're killing. They just think they don't really even see themselves. They're not really killing themselves because they don't know themselves. They don't really know what they're taking away from themselves.
Bro.
Yeah.
That was such a brilliant point.
Appreciate it.
So yeah, I was gonna say that technology amplified, but I guess exposed us for who we really are is the same exact thing. Because, like I said, I think, and especially again, like I said, I think for men, technology may have sped up the process or increased the volume, but the process is still the same. Even if you talk about guys that can never get women, technology just gave them easier access to the very thing they were already doing to begin with. It used to be the nude magazines, the Playboy magazines. Now you just got access to Pornhub. And now at this point, you're getting to the point where you got AI technology and you just got access in that way. So I think technology is just placating on the very things we were always doing to begin with. It just increased the volume. But it's exactly who we are. We're still those people.
Worse than men. I don't think it's necessarily producing
an
entire community of better men. You know, I just don't think. I mean, it's not being utilized or leveraged in such a way where it's, creating better thinkers, better problem solvers. Like, yeah, we naturally have that instinction, but I don't think that it's doing it in the way that our society is benefited. There's a lot of conversations about, men of yesteryears, right, compared to the men of today. And, this was brought up, one time before, hard times, what is it? Strong men create, fix hard times. I forget the whole saying, but that along in that line, right? We already are on our third wave of that. It seems so. because the men that we have produced and kind of almost castrated up to this point are not really living up to a lot of the expectations that had started in yesteryear by the men who started building to now and creating the comforts that we take for granted today.
So I want to disagree. Technology is working and it's working fabulously. We get a chance to do whatever we want. We just didn't know what it was going to cost us, right? So me get a chance to see multiple women. We get a chance to watch, we get to watch them thing. We get a chance to watch it. But depression is up. It makes you feel lonely. It can become very addictive. It's very impersonal. So this is why I say technology is doing exactly what it was intended to do. It's just we weren't able to predict the outcome of this. And you guys have to understand this. So this is the advent of technology as the way that it is now is about, 23 years now? I'm talking about the acceleration of computing. There are no huge psychological studies on what all this has done. There's some things out there that talks about how if we look at people's social media profiles, it can feed depression because we're comparing our lives to theirs. But there's no studies on the long-term effects of usage of technology, right? So this is why I say right now it's working as it should, but we won't really know the damage it has done to us again until we've got. I say this to women all the time. You don't realize how empty your life is until you realize you got more pictures on social media than you got at your house, right? So if the world shut down, you have no memories to pull back on because technology is doing exactly what it should have done. It's working as it should. We just don't know what it's going to cost us yet because it hasn't been enough time.
I was going to say, I think that movie Megan illustrated that perfectly when they were talking about the dynamics between parents and their children and using technology to basically raise your kids. So you absolutely right, Sir Hill. I think we don't know exactly what is we don't know the ramifications of what we created and how we're using it.
So that's the reason why I say I want to lose my mind, because there's people out here that they don't really realize how they are so stuck in this social media. Like, can't put their phone down. Like, they just can't live without it. It's just, you look at them and starting arguments. Like, put the damn phone down.
It's bad, JR, when you walk by a nice restaurant and you see two couples sitting down and they're both on their phone as opposed to engaging and having dialogue with each other.
Along with the kids. Along with the kids, too.
Along with the kids, too.
They are engaging. They're both on Facebook, taking
liking
pictures of their food and liking each other's stuff. So they're engaged. They're engaged.
Yeah. She's posting the picture and he's liking and commenting right behind.
Yeah, she tagged her.
It's crazy though, because my mom complains all the time how our family never takes pictures. I think when we went to New York City, that was probably the first time I took as many pictures as I did. Majority of the time when we vacation and stuff, there's hardly any pictures. It's because we're so stuck in the moment and enjoying it that we think like, damn, I was supposed to take a picture of that mountain I just drove past. Damn, I was supposed to take a picture of that statue or that whatever. And you forget because you just enjoying yourself. Mm-hmm. So I feel bad for the people who constantly, and I see it all the time, people who their whole story is everything that they did. But it's like, but did you actually experience that?
It takes your life without killing you.
Yeah, the only thing that I suggest, at least if you're going to do it, at least get paid for doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can have some type of incentive.
Absolutely.
Blog or something like that, because you're just doing it, just sitting there liking. Like I was telling some people, when I first started this, I used to watch everybody's podcast. Every time somebody used to watch Kevin Samuels, I started watching it, man, because I was sitting there spending more time watching than I was working. And also, too, I didn't want to be talking about the same shit that he was talking about because we had similar audience. So I would get influenced by my topics if I kept listening to Kevin. I'm like, I'm about to keep listening to shit. So I just started listening to people that wasn't in the space, and I would create my conversations from there. My topics from there. So you can't get sucked in, man. But I like to be more on the other side where I understand what's going on with money, because people don't even understand how it's just currency is something used to pin us against each other. It's something used to exhibit power and order. Money just has so many purposes that people don't even realize, and it controls us. Same thing like social media. Even if you think about the food that we eat, I think I just learned that a bag of Lay's chips has different ingredients in Europe than it has here, and how so many of these companies work together along with the food companies, and they are putting this shit out there. They don't give a damn about us. They just gonna keep feeding us because it's making money. So until we start doing the research and actually understanding what's going on in this world, including social media, everything has an agenda, and they don't give a damn about our life. I mean, it goes deep. Think about the people that get canceled when they start speaking about these things. They don't want you to know the truth. So it's going to be up for you to understand it. And if you want to live, don't go against the grain, because once you start talking too much, then you just seem to disappear.
Mm-hmm. They're feeding on our insecurities, for sure.
Yeah.
Wasn't that you, JR, that got on me the other day? I was like, I'm about to go ahead and give you some McDonald's. He said, come on, man, don't eat that McDonald's.
Yeah, a lot of people are dying from what they're eating, but just as much, a lot of people are dying from what it's eating them from inside.
Yeah. And then a whole lot of stuff don't catch up to you until later. So it can be working, and it may take some time. I mean, even like when I talk to people that's in the medical field, I ain't gonna talk about this shit, man, because I ain't trying to have somebody ringing my doorbell or something. Like, damn, who was that? How they get a key?
Right.
It was a good show, man. I think this might have been one of the best shows, to be honest. I'm over looking around thinking I seen some shit, man. I felt
I'm around the same area, bro. Hit me up if anything goes wrong, bro.
Okay, it might have been a spirit or something. Something came my way. I'm like, I probably got
JR, something I just want to say, man. Like, I heard you cook a lot tonight, bro, and it's really good to hear. Like, you're a really good moderator for shows, but when you open up and you share your perspective, man, it's well received. And you can tell it's real grounded, man. So much respect to you for not only the questions, but when you open up, it makes a difference, man. So I just want to give you a shout out as well, and to Chris as well. Good talking with you, bro. First time meeting you. Really good perspective. And he, I'm triggered by your beard. I can grow mine, and I secretly hate on other black men who can. But we'll talk about that behind the scene. Sweeney and Louis, awesome stuff, bros.
Yeah, man.
Respect.
I'm sure y'all share this, man. This was an excellent discussion. I enjoyed it. I think one of the hardest things about, I guess, so-called moderating is listening. A lot of times I'm sitting up here, I'm always doing 1,000 things just to try to keep the show going. So sometimes I may miss a lot of stuff, but this was impactful. I think it was much needed. And a lot of times I may sit on a topic and I'd be like, I really don't want to do this. And then something tells me like, you need to do this. So this is one of them days where I just felt like this needed to be discussed. And I like how y'all unpacked it from the man side. Like, these are discussions that typically happen amongst women, and we see women comment, but not enough men speak on it. And I think it did educate us on a lot of different things, because we all been, what's Sean? Sean dropped off. I didn't realize Sean said he had to go. I didn't realize. Okay, he did say he had to drop off. One thing I appreciate about Sean, I've been learning, is that he keep it real, man. I mean, he keep it authentic, and that's what we need more of. One of the things that I've learned, I'm gonna be real quick, is that a lot of people on these panels are not in touch with reality. And I was speaking with my team about the direction I want to go in. I want to invite more people that's just not on YouTube, because you do see people just regurgitate the same shit over and over again. We need people that's actually in the field that can actually speak about real life things that's going on. So and somebody may be more likely to relate to it. So don't be surprised if you see a few things switching up, because I do want people that's actually in the field that actually speak to people. So salute to my team for advising, because I don't know it all, man. But as the world changes, you got to surround yourself with people that's gonna point things out, because you may not be realizing what's going on. You may be sucked into it, and I can't lie, I have been sucked into just doing, because it used to be where I was doing a lot more creating, and then I became like a little mellow with it. But now I'm back to a little bit more creating and seeing how I can evolve with all this change that's going around. So it's gonna be some changes. It's gonna start here. I appreciate you guys' perspectives tonight. Thank you, guys. Make sure you follow everybody on their individual platform. I think, Chris, you're an author, right?
Yes, sir. Lines to Connect the Dots.
Say it again.
Lines to Connect the Dots. Look it up on Amazon. I'm actually working on my second book right now. I appreciate you guys too for having me.
Okay, no doubt. So y'all make sure y'all go ahead and support him. Luis is an excellent designer. So if you guys need some, if you're in that field and need some work done, y'all make sure y'all check out Luis. Sir Hale has evolved. I've been knowing Sir Hale for a while, so I seen him when he just started off, and he's definitely proof that if you keep working, keep grinding, and keep self-improving, and have faith that you will become something more than what you were. So to my guy Hink, man, Hink has been down with me from day one, man. He's a great dude. So y'all make sure y'all go ahead and support his platform too. And Sweeney gonna be on his way, man. I'll make sure I take him up under my wing. I keep giving him props, and it's for real when I say it, Sweeney. It's not just something I'm just saying. Sweeney is a dope dude. He challenged you. He's one of them guys that I see that's in touch with reality. So, I mean, no matter what nobody else is saying, he's going to tell you what his reality is. And we can certainly appreciate that on all these platforms, because we need people, again, that's in the field, that's bringing these real life examples, how it really is, off of YouTube. Now, go ahead, sir. I know you're about to say something.
To everyone who said I look 45, I'm doing a reaction video on each one of you. I got your names and addresses. I'll be doing this show. I would have put that out there. I'm 35.
Hey, Sir Hill. So I'm glad you said that about JR, right? Because he done got me to start trying to do these in-person shows. And then we get 3 shows in. He wanted to start fading to black. I'm like, you pulled me out here. We gonna be doing these shows together.
Nothing wrong with it, man. Nothing wrong with it. I've been through a lot, man. I've been through a whole lot, man. This ain't been speaking on. I used to talk in the beginning. I don't know what happened, man. I used to talk when it was just a panel of 4. Used to be able to talk. I had no choice but to talk then. But I will start talking a little bit more, just from my perspective. But I learned a lot from you guys, because a lot of things I may not have experienced. So just when you think you learned a lot, Sir Harold told me he got 16 years in. So I'm sitting back, I'm learning a lot from what you got going on, bro. You know, a lot of conversations that I have has been like, things I'm good at is how to transition from a 9 to 5, growing up in wealth, how to elevate your mindset, even though the odds are against you. Those are things that I could speak about, because those are my experiences. So a lot of things, if I don't speak up on it, I don't want it to be sitting here telling y'all some damn bullshit. So when y'all do see me chiming on something, it's because I actually know. And even off air, you won't hear me say anything unless I know about it. Or I'm confident that I can give you some solid advice. Otherwise, I tell you, like, I honestly don't know, and I don't want to tell you nothing wrong. So if y'all don't hear me speaking up on nothing, it's because I don't want to feed y'all some bullshit.
Yeah, I gotta learn to do that sometimes, because sometimes I'll just be talking cash shit about some shit I have no idea what I'm talking about. So
yeah,
so I definitely gotta learn that sometimes.
All right, well, here we go. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna say, because it's a humbling experience when somebody knows more than you, and then they tell you, I read a book on this, and then you like, God damn, you got me, bro.
Yeah. Let me get to these super chats real quick. The Real Precious 999. Somebody passed me the offering plate. Salute to you, Precious. Y'all make sure y'all support her platform as well. Great conversations over there. BZ, formerly Baby Zaddy, $5. Also remember says, love the new direction. JR, I've stepped away for a little bit. Yes, you have, because it was sounding too negative. But I'm glad I'm a member. You are a member. Salute to you, and thank you for being a member. There's other shows too. I know people like to look at one show and think that's what the network is about, but we are going to start elevating the conversations over here, so stay tuned for that. And lastly, Me University, $5. Say whatever you want to say. Just stay out the black suit and tie when you do it. They don't like you speaking out in a uniform. Malcolm/Martin/KS. Yeah, rest in peace, KS. All right, gentlemen, we out of here. Thank you guys again. It's been real. I think we got out on time. Yeah, right before 12. So I'm sure I get you some sleep. Funny, I thought I had lost you, man. I thought I might have had you up too late from the pod last night.
Every single week.
Oh man, we was done early. We just decided to shoot pool and shit. So that was
Bust, man. Hey, this dude is a pool shark.
No, don't start telling nobody nothing.
Hey, look, he started off missing shots on purpose and shit. So you know what I mean. So he got the busting my ass. Like I lost like at least 3 games.
Pause.
Not him spotting.
Then we went.
You gotta
But then
pause.
he was like, I was like, so you want to play foosball? He was like, sure. Like, that's why I got my revenge.
Oh yeah, I don't fuck with that goofy ass shit that's going on, man. I don't know what's going on with that, but hey, that's not my cup of tea, man. But yeah, you gotta say pause, Swin. You said that a little bit too aggressive, brother.
Hey, y'all know what I meant.
No, we don't. We old school, man. All right,
But-
y'all. Go ahead. My bad for cutting you out, Swin. Thursday, you can speak all you want, man. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for your support. Shout out to all my Green Game members. Shout out to the sponsor, Teach Healing. It's another in the books. If you just tuning in, you late. Catch the replay. We out. I said thank you guys again. Hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Shout out to the greatest network ever, the Lapeef Network. Y'all make sure y'all go ahead and follow the Lapeef Experience page as well. Got some great things happening over there. If you just tuned in, you late. Y'all better catch that replay. This was a banger. I see you, Sweeney. Shout out to my brother, Sweeney and Hink. Y'all make sure y'all follow everybody on their individual platforms. Go ahead and support each other, y'all. It's a great show, great show. Y'all make sure y'all share this stream with somebody. Somebody need to hear it. I want to thank Precious, Jordan Landry. I see you. Appreciate you, Chris, for coming in and dropping them jewels. So last track, family. Again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to King Talk on the Lapeef Network. It was a great, phenomenal show. Y'all make sure y'all share this. Watch it again. A lot of gems that was dropped tonight. Just want to thank you guys on behalf of the Lapeef Network.